Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider if you do consider a subscriber to the channel as always. So potentially the big question is who do you think Manchester United should currently sign in the summer? And I've been asking a lot of this question on quite a lot of my videos to be quite honest with you as well, because obviously now obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the Manchester United job on a full-time basis, of course. Obviously now he's been in discussions with Ed Woodward, what players should stay, what players should come in, and what players should depart Manchester United in the summer. And obviously he's discussing with Ed Woodward, of planning to take this club forward, of course, as well, because potentially we want to get back to being that powerhouse as we was for under Alex Ferguson for 26, 27 successful years, of course, as well. So the most essential thing is that Manchester United, get the right players that have got the ability to elevate us in the next 2 to 3 years, of course, as well. But the good thing is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is monitoring an interest, in quite a few young players, of course, as well. And obviously he's identified the key areas, where he thinks Manchester United, of course, need to strengthen up. I think potentially we do need a full-back, of course, as well. We need someone on that right-hand side, and I do think we need someone young and ambitious on that right-hand side. We need a central defender. We need someone who can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. We need a couple of additions in midfield, and I do think potentially, we do need a right wing, and I think that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, of course, as well. But I think he's recommending that he wants about 5 signings this summer, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. I think reportedly they're going to cost in the region of over £200 million, of course, as well. Obviously, the most essential thing is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing in the summer transfer window, of course. So the most essential thing is that we're obviously looking to hire a director of football, to come in as well, to change the club structure and all that, as well, as we all know. But potentially some people are saying, we should spend the money wisely in the summer, as I do keep mentioning, rather than spending loads of money on one player, of course, as well, because we do know that Jadon Sancho is going to cost us around £100 million, as we all know. We do potentially know that Rafael Varane had cost us around £100 million, and we do know that we've been spending big on one player. We did it with Pogba, 89 million, Lukaku, 75 million pounds, of course, as well. But Solskjaer, it's good that he's already emphasising his targets, and I think he's expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out as well. So I think he's ready to sanction at least 6 players off this summer. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and in that aspect, we can raise some funds, of course, as well. But potentially considering Manchester United didn't spend out in January, obviously last summer, we obviously got Fred in for what, £47 million, something like that, was it? For me, I don't know if it's a long-term solution for Manchester United, of course, Fred. And obviously, we got Diego Dalot last summer, as we all know as well. And we also got Lee Grant, of course, because obviously last summer we had a disappointing window last summer because we didn't get as priority targets, of course, as well. But essentially, as I did say, a lot of money has been spent at Manchester United, as we all currently know, since Alex Ferguson retired. We do know that £600-700 million has been spent. Of course, we've seen players come in, and we've also seen players leave, of course, as well. And obviously now, we had different managers with different philosophies. Now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the 4th permanent manager at Manchester United, of course, since Alex Ferguson retired, as we all know, as well. But as Dick currently says, Solskjaer wants to build a team, worthy of our history, and potentially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can basically see, the deficiencies in the squad, as we all know, as well. We've still got players, coming to the end of the contract term, as we all know as well. But potentially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all know, he wants about 5 new additions to come in this summer, and potentially, I think Solskjaer said that he basically wants Aaron Wan-Bissaka of Crystal Palace, he wants Declan Rice from West Ham, and potentially wants Chelsea's Callum Hudson-Odoi. But I think Jadon Sancho does still remain the club's number one priority target for this summer. But potentially Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think he'd be a great addition if he came to Manchester United. He's still very, very young. He's 21 years of age, as we all know, as well as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Of course, he spent the entirety of his playing career, so far with Crystal Palace, because obviously he graduated from youth system, only broke into the senior team last year with Crystal Palace, and I think he's made about 34 appearances or something like that for Crystal Palace in the senior team, of course, as well. And I think he's available for a reasonable figure of around £35-40 million, because reports have been coming out saying that Manchester United are reportedly preparing to put a £35 million bid into him. So maybe Crystal Palace, may consider, some offers, for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. And in my opinion, in my own opinion, I think he'd be perfect successor to Antonio Valencia, because obviously it's looking like one of the players who's going to leave definitely this summer is obviously, Antonio Valencia. He's been a great servant to the club. He's been here since 2009. This is 10th season now in the process with Manchester United, of course, as well. And over the years, he has been essential, but obviously we opted against that decision to trigger that 1-year extension. So it's looking likely Valencia is on his way out of Manchester United this summer, as we all know, as well. So I think it'd be a good upgrade to Antonio Valencia. His defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good. Obviously, you've got Ashley Young as well, and potentially over the years, he's been a very, very good servant for Manchester United. He has been a good servant for Manchester United. When he was younger, he was a really, really good winner, of course, as well. But now he's getting exploited far too easy on that right-hand side. His pass completion's very, very poor indeed. And potentially, yeah, he's been a long-serving player. He's been here about 7-8 seasons now, and by the time his 1-year extension expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age, of course, Ashley Young. So I potentially do want to see Ashley Young leave Manchester United. Of course, I don't know if it'll be this summer. If it isn't this summer, it will be when his 1-year extension currently expires, of course, as well. So for me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, would be the right candidate to fulfill that right-back position, of course, as well, because reportedly his performances for Palace have been very, very good indeed. And obviously, Man United have showed an interest in West Ham's Declan Rice. Now, potentially, I think we need a centre defensive midfielder because he's mainly a holding midfielder. Obviously, we've got Nemanja Matic as a centre defensive mid, as we all know, but for me, I've got strong reservations about him. He's really, really slow, as I said, he's static and all that. And, overall, I've analysed his performances since Solskjaer's come in, and overall, he has actually, improved, but since he's recovered from injury, he's been inconsistent, and he's looked very, very ineffective in that midfield, of course, as well. And plus, he's aging up now, so I think we need someone fast and tenacious, as I said, we need someone fast and tenacious, someone who's got a lot of tenacity and who's fast as a centre defensive midfielder, of course, as well. So reportedly, we have showed an interest in Declan Rice. Reportedly, he's had a really, really good season with West Ham this season. He's still under contract with West Ham until 2024, of course, as well as Declan Rice. And I think he's valued at a reasonable figure of around £40 million, or something like that, as well. But reportedly, his performances under Manuel Pellegrini this season have been really, really good indeed, reportedly, as well. So reportedly, Manchester United has showed an interest in him as well. And potentially, Callum Hudson-Odoi has also, been mentioned in the media as well. But I don't really see Manchester United, coming to an agreement, to get Callum Hudson-Odoi this summer. Because obviously, Chelsea will be probably, reluctant, to let Callum Hudson-Odoi leave. Considering that Chelsea, of course, have got a transfer ban, of course. Well, maybe from his own perspective, Callum Hudson-Odoi is that he still probably may want to leave Chelsea this summer. Because obviously, he put a transfer request in back in January. Obviously, it was Bayern Munich's top priority target, back in January. Bayern Munich had held negotiations. Bayern Munich had a host of bids turned down, but I think Bayern Munich were willing to offer him that number 10 shirt because obviously Arjen Robben fulfills that number 10 at the moment, but it's likely he's going to depart Bayern Munich this summer. So Bayern Munich have got quite a host of experienced players, so they are looking to get some, young upcoming prospects in their squad as well, and that's why, they emphasised, Callum Hudson-Odoi, would be a great addition to their team. But obviously, Bayern Munich, failed in their pursuit, to get him back in January. So Bayern Munich may revive their interest this summer, but it has also said that Manchester United are interested. Liverpool have held negotiations with his agent, of course, as well. He still remains under contract till 2020 with Chelsea. He's only 18 years of age. He is one of England's youngest upcoming talents. So it's good that Solskjaer is, monitoring interest, in one of England's youngest upcoming prospects, and all British players as well, which is very, very good indeed. But Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he's still got strong reservations about his game time with Chelsea, as we all know as well. I think most recently he made his first Premier League start, of course, as well. But I think, if Chelsea are willing to negotiate, I think they demand that they want just over £40 million or more for Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. So reportedly, Manchester United have showed an interest in him. Obviously, he can play as a winger. He can also operate as a forward as well. And he has been actually playing quite regular, in the cup competitions for Chelsea. But reportedly, Solskjaer has demanded out that he wants Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he wants Declan Rice, and he wants Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, as well. And obviously, we know the club's number one priority target is obviously, Jadon Sancho, as we all know as well. And I do really, really highly rate him, but he's going to cost us a nine-figure sum of around £100 million. That's if Borussia Dortmund are willing to do any business this summer, because obviously, according to the Borussia Dortmund, director and all that, I think he's confirmed that Jadon Sancho will not leave Borussia Dortmund, reportedly as well. So he's convinced that Jadon Sancho will stay, because Borussia Dortmund know how much of a central player he is to their team. He's an elite level footballer. He's still one of England's young upcoming prospects, of course, as well. And he's a really, really good player. And we need someone that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box as well. His work ethnic's very, very good indeed. He can put crosses into the box. He can provide. He can score goals as well. And he's just turned 19 years of age. Not too long ago. And as I did say, Manchester United officials have approached Jadon Sancho's representatives, as we all know. But potentially, I think he could cost us in the region of around £100 million. And I think he'd link up very, very well. With the likes of Martial and Rashford. Who are growing and developing. In this team. Fantastically well. Of course, and both still very, very young. Who've got great talent. And also, Jadon Sancho has also, got immense talent as well. Borussia Dortmund is still under contract with Borussia Dortmund, as we all know, until 2022, as we all know as well. He's still under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, as we all know as well. But I think Manchester United, I think, is still our number one summer target, reportedly, as well. And I think he's attracted interest, from quite a few teams across Europe. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund have been known for doing business with their players, as I said. And Borussia Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Manchester City a couple of years back, as well. So potentially Manchester United are heavily linked with him. And there's been a narrative going on about it now for the past 4 or 5 years, something like that now anywhere. But potentially, if we were to get him, he'd probably making the most expensive English footballer ever, of course, as well. So Manchester United have been heavily linked to him. But as I did say, there's going to be departures this summer, as we all know, as well. And potentially we do know one of them players that's probably going to be leaving is probably Ander Herrera, as we all know, as well. And as I said, he's been a great servant to the club as Ander Herrera. His performances overall have been very, very good, indeed. He's very tenacious, shows a lot of tenacity about his play, breaks up the play very, very well. And we do know that there's players out there, that there's better midfielders out there than Ander Herrera, of course, as well. But he's brought so much to the team. His stability, he's very, very good, indeed. And mainly he's been fitting in that midfield trio very, very well. And mainly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice midfield trio, regardless of the injuries, obviously. He's obviously Herrera, Matic and Pogba. And to be quite honest with you, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took the reins at Manchester United, mainly, they've all blended in very, very well together, to be quite honest with you, as well. But potentially now, it did say basically that Ander Herrera, obviously, was demanding wages of around £200,000 a week if he was to commit his future with Manchester United. If he was to remain loyal to Manchester United, and if he was to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, and if he was to sign a new contract. But reportedly, Man United were not willing to meet his £200,000 wage demands, reportedly. So reportedly now, it's just emphasised now that basically he has made a decision on his future, and he's intending on going to PSG on a free at the end of the season. Of course, I think it's a 3-year deal worth around £200,000 a week. But he's been here since 2014, and this is his 5th season at Manchester United. He's made 187 appearances for the club, of course, well. So you can merely say that £30 million has been thrown down the drain, to be quite honest with you, as well. So yeah, potentially it's looking like Ander Herrera is on his way out, as we all know. So potentially now, we're going to have to find a replacement for Ander Herrera, because there's definitely new additions that are now needed into that midfield. As I said, Pogba's future's up in the air at the moment. Matic is too slow. We need a CDM, of course, as well. And you've got the fringe players with the likes of, Fred. For me, I don't know if it's a long-term solution, as I said. You've got Pereira and McTominay. And to be quite fair, when we did have that injury crisis, of course, as well, the likes of Pereira and McTominay, performed really, really well. They were playing between the lines very, very well. But I don't know if they've got the capability, to graduate to that level, of course, as well. So potentially we do need a couple of additions in that midfield, of course, as well. And we've obviously showed an interest in Saul Niguez. And do you think Saul Niguez would be a good replacement for Ander Herrera? Because Ander Herrera is 29, of course. He's aging up now. He's Ander Herrera, don't forget. And I think he'll be great. I think he'll be a great addition, to Paris. He'll be a great addition, in France, with Paris Saint-Germain, to be quite honest with you, as well. He'll bring a lot of tenacity, to their team, of course, as well. Because Ander Herrera is a really, really good player, but he is better out there, of course, well. And Saul Niguez is only 24 years of age, of course. He's Spanish, of course, well. So he's still young, this player. But again, he'll probably cost us quite a bit of money, because his release clause is around £128 million, is Saul Niguez, reportedly, as well. I think City have also showed an interest in Saul Niguez as well. I think they're maybe seeing him as a replacement maybe for Fernandinho, or something like that as well. Reports came out last month that, City had showed an interest in Saul Niguez. But reportedly Manchester United have showed an interest in him. Obviously spent the entirety of his career in Spain, mainly with Atletico Madrid, as we all know, because he actually graduated from Atletico Madrid's youth system. I think he's made about 200 appearances, for Atletico Madrid as well. But, I think he'd be beneficial for Manchester United, because I think he wants a Premier League move. He's versatile as well. His play, he can operate as a defensive mid. He can play as a central mid. He can also operate on the right, and he can also fulfill the number 6 role. He can also fulfill the number 8 role, as well. So do you think he'd blend in very, very well alongside Pogba and Matic in our midfield? Because we do need someone now that can link up with Matic and Pogba, of course, in our midfield, of course, as well. But we don't know what's happening with Paul Pogba at the moment, guys, to be quite honest with you, as well, because there has been a lot of reports coming out from Spain saying that reportedly he's indicated that he's interested in making a move to Real Madrid this summer, because obviously, he's been talking a lot about Real Madrid, saying it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. He admits playing for Zinedine Zidane would be a dream for him, and he's described Real Madrid as a dream club, as we all know as well. And obviously Zinedine Zidane, is a big admirer of the player. Zinedine Zidane, does like Paul Pogba a lot, as well. And obviously, Zinedine Zidane is emphasising his targets, this summer, because obviously he's planning for an investment at Real Madrid this summer. Obviously now this is his second spell in charge of Real Madrid, of course, as well. And potentially, obviously, Zinedine Zidane, has identified quite a few key targets. Reports came out the other week saying that reportedly he's going to get around £300 £700 million to spend this summer at Real Madrid. This is what potentially, obviously, Florentino Perez, will be giving him, of course, as well. But he's been interested in quite a few players. He wants to get the players to the highest level, of course. I think he's been interested in Mbappe. Obviously, Eden Hazard's been a potential target for Real Madrid, of course, as well. Obviously, now Zinedine Zidane's back in charge. Obviously, Eden Hazard probably will want to even make the move more now, and I think Eden Hazard's probably convinced that he's intending on making a move to Madrid this summer, of course, as well. But it probably will cost Madrid around £100 million to get Hazard. Hazard is still under contract with Chelsea till 2020. Chelsea have been in the process, of trying to get him a new contract worth around £300,000 a week, but Chelsea haven't come to an agreement to get him a new contract. Potentially, I do like Eden Hazard. He's a really, really good player. He's well Premier League proven now. This is his 7th season at Chelsea, of course. He's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. He's won a lot of silverware in English football as well. And I think he's still in his mid-20s and he's grown, developed and flourished, fantastically well as Eden Hazard, and he's an elite level footballer, of course. I don't think he's much of a team player, but I think, his physicality is good, his work ethic's good, his finishing's really, really good, and all that as well. He's Eden Hazard's, of course. I still think he's one of the best players in the Premier League. I'd say probably the 3rd best player in the Premier League, of course, as well. But potentially it will cost Real Madrid around maybe £100 million to get Eden Hazard this summer, of course, as well. But he still remains under contract till 2020 with Chelsea. But obviously, as we all know, they've been interested in Paul Pogba as well. But I think from Manchester United's perspective, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually said that, Paul Pogba still feels happy at Manchester United, as we all know, as well. And maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, still thinks that Paul Pogba has got a big future at Manchester United, of course, as well. But obviously what he's been saying about Madrid, Paul Pogba, this could have concerns for Manchester United. It could have concerns for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But recent reports have been coming out, guys. I want to give you an update on, as I've been updating you on, saying that reportedly Manchester United are in the process to begin contract negotiations, with Paul Pogba reportedly as well. And reportedly, if he's to commit to his long-term future in Manchester United, and if he's to commit to a new long-term contract, reportedly Paul Pogba is demanding an astronomical salary of around £500,000 a week if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United. As I did say, currently what Sanchez is earning, as I currently said, he's obviously the highest paid player, of course. It's totally affecting our wage structure, to be quite honest, because now we've got players, that are demanding more money, of course. Well, we've got De Gea, who hasn't signed a new contract yet. He's demanding quite a bit more money. You saw it with Herrera. Now Pogba's doing it, of course, as well. And Pogba at the moment is on £300,000 a week. So potentially, if he's to stay at Manchester United, if he's to remain loyal to Manchester United, he's demanding a £200,000 significant pay rise, of course, if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United. Obviously, at the moment, he's still under contract here till 2021, so he's still got over 2 years on his deal. Obviously, there is an option of a further year, of course, as well. But reports have been coming out from the press, saying that reportedly, reports have been coming out from the press, saying reportedly that Real Madrid are preparing to put a bid in of around £125 million for Paul Pogba this summer, of course, as well. But I think Man United are willing to turn down any offers for Paul Pogba, if they do come this summer. Obviously, his agent Raiola, is in the process of finding him a new club. Obviously, he's spoken to Real Madrid a couple of times about a potential summer move. He's been to Manchester, to talk about a potential summer move, of course, as well. And if an agreement was made in the summer, obviously, his agent Raiola, will probably get quite a bit of that money, to be quite honest with you, as well. But potentially, I think, obviously, overall, I've analysed Paul Pogba's performances under Solskjaer. Mainly, they've been very, very good. He's been very, very effective indeed. He's been scoring goals, he's been providing, and he's been playing really, really well as Paul Pogba. And I think his performances get better, when he's getting that freedom. But, most recently, in the last couple of games, his performances have been way below par, to be quite honest. And this is give concerns to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And this is why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking about, rotating Paul Pogba and obviously, putting him in a different position and obviously, seeing a different side of his game. Maybe putting him in more of a defensive role or something like that as well. But as I did say, Paul Pogba has been speaking a lot about Real Madrid, as we all know as well. Reports coming out the other week saying that reportedly he's demanding a significant pay rise annually as well. So reportedly he was demanding he wanted around 14 million if he is to make the move to Real Madrid, which would potentially make him the highest paid player with Real Madrid, of course, as well. But there also was talks about him potentially possibly making a return back to Italy as well, where he did, to be fair, have 4 good years with Juventus, and Manchester United, of course, paid £89 million to him from Juventus back in 2016. Obviously, our most expensive signing. Now, this is his 3rd season with Manchester United, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of talks going on about it. Potentially, he wants £500,000 a week if he's to sign a new contract, which would potentially make him the highest paid player alongside Alexis Sanchez at the club, of course, as well. So yeah, I wanted to give you an update on that as well. But as I did say, other players are going to leave Manchester United this summer. As I said, Valencia's probably on his way out. As I said, I think Marcus Rojo, is probably on his way out of Manchester United as well, because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. Considering the amount of injuries he's currently had, which has affected his Manchester United career. To be quite honest with him as well. Smalling's future's uncertain. Phil Jones's future's is uncertain. Of course, as well. I think Damian's on his way out of the club in the summer as well, because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United, as we all know as well. We definitely know that probably, Sanchez is on his way out of Manchester United this summer, of course, as well, because Sanchez, again, has enjoyed a difficult time as a Manchester United player. And, he really, really was good at Arsenal. We do know he's versatile, as Alexis Sanchez, but when he's been given the opportunity at Manchester United, he just looks so restricted. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom, he hasn't settled in, and he hasn't established himself that well in the Manchester United team. He's lacked goals, so that just emphasises, how ineffective, Alexis Sanchez has been at Manchester United. Of course, it's going to be hard to find a buy for him this summer, considering his substantial wages he's on. Obviously, it's going to be hard. Probably not many teams, would be able to afford, to pay his wages off, unless Sanchez is willing to take some kind of wage cut. I do not know. But he is age 30 now, and he's not playing to the highest level anymore. He has lost that yard of pace, as we all know, as well. So potentially, I think, Sanchez, is probably on his way out this summer. There's a lot of Manchester United fans, calling for Lukaku, to leave Manchester United this summer as well. Maybe some fans are thinking, that he should be moved on. And Lukaku's goal-scoring form is very, very good, but especially, when it comes against the big teams, he's a big game bottler, as I said. We've all got concerns about his first touch and all that, and he's slow, is Lukaku, and, that's why I've got reservations about him, to be quite honest. I think he does perform better, when he's getting that support up front. Lukaku does look more effective, if I'm going to be quite honest with you as well. But potentially for me, maybe moved on in the summer. But obviously we paid £75 million for Romelu Lukaku. Maybe we'll try and recoup the initial £75 million we paid for him from Everton a couple of years ago. But I don't know if we'll be able to recoup the £75 million, of course, well. But he was in great form, Lukaku, before the international break. He was looking very, very good alongside Marcus Rashford in our front line, and he was scoring goals and all that, Lukaku. But I just don't think he's reliable enough. His finishing lets him down. He doesn't get enough of them runs in behind, to be quite honest with you, as well. So maybe Manchester United, may consider moving him on this summer, as we all know as well. And as I said about Juan Mata, of course, as well, I'll give you an update on Juan Mata. I think Juan Mata, is probably on his way out this summer as well. I think Barcelona, as I did say, have been in talks, of getting him on a free transfer at the end of the season. Obviously, Juan Mata has been a good servant to Manchester United. Of course, he's well Premier League proven now, and he's got a pretty decent pedigree now in the Premier League. Just like Lukaku, he's got a decent pedigree in the Premier League in terms of his goals and that, and his ratios are very, very good indeed. But Juan Mata, as I said, he's made over 200 appearances for Manchester United, as we all know. I think he scored about 50 goals in the Premier League. I think he's got about 50 assists as well. Potentially, and we paid, £40 million for him back in 2014. This is his 5th season now at Manchester United. Of course, we did get Juan Mata under the David Moyes era, and he actually spent 2.5-3 years with Chelsea, of course, as well. But he's won everything, domestically, apart from the Premier League, and that's the only thing he hasn't won. But everything else is currently won, as I said. But he's age 30 now, he's Juan Mata, and I think Man United have been in talks of getting him a new deal. I don't think it'd be a long-term contract, considering that he is age 30 now. Juan Mata, of course, is aging up, as we all know, but he has been very, very essential to the team over the years. He has been here, of course, as well. But maybe he may make a return back to Spain, because he had a lot of experience of playing in Spain when he was a lot younger. Obviously he began his career with Real Madrid as a youngster. Then actually, went to Valencia. He played under Unai for 4 years at Valencia, of course, as well. So tensions being talks that he could go to Barcelona on a free in the summer, of course, as well. And now we've got De Gea as well. We don't know what's happening with De Gea at the moment. As I said, De Gea, I think he still wants to commit his long-term future in Manchester United. Manchester United have yet to come to an agreement to get him a new contract. We have been in talks, but we haven't come to an agreement as yet, because potentially, I think De Gea is demanding around £350,000 a week, reportedly. At the moment, he's on £200,000 a week. So again, as I said, it's affecting our wage structure of what currently Sanchez is earning, because now Pogba's demanding £500,000 a week, so he's demanding a £200,000 pay rise. Now we've got De Gea that's demanding £150,000 pay rise, is it, or something like that as well. And potentially now it's saying that PSG are reportedly interested in De Gea. PSG are reportedly willing to meet what he's currently his wage demands. PSG are willing to meet his wage demands of £350,000 a week. But I think De Gea is still happy at Manchester United. Of course, he's been a good servant to us. He's been very, very essential. He's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. Obviously, we do know that Real Madrid, of course, have been long admirers of the keeper. Obviously, Real Madrid were on the brink of of getting him back in 2015, of course, as well. But De Gea's made over 300 appearances for Manchester United. Of course, he's won everything here domestically, of course, as well. So potentially, I hope, he does stay at Manchester United. He is still under contract here till 2020, so because we activated a 12-month extension last year, of course, as well. But now there's been a lot of talks, going on about PSG, reportedly as well, showing an interest in him, of course, as well. But he's made 100 Premier League clean sheets as well as David De Gea. He's won the club's player of the year 4 out of 5 seasons, and he's been here since the Alex Ferguson era, because I think we paid about £17 million for him back in 2011, from Atletico Madrid, of course, as well, where he risen up the youth system, of course, as well. But I think, the players Manchester United have also been interested. And, there's been a lot of talks going on about Raphael Varane, as we all know as well. And without a shadow of a doubt, he'd address our defensive deficiencies, if he was to come in, Raphael Varane. Again, he's the type of player, Manchester United should be targeting. We do know he's going to cost us quite a bit of money, but I think Real Madrid are reluctant to let him go this summer, because I don't think Real Madrid, from their perspective and Zinedine Zidane's perspective, have got no intentions of selling Raphael Varane this summer. But from the own player's perspective, I think reports are coming out from Spain saying that he's considering leaving Real Madrid this summer, because he's been at Real Madrid a lot of years now. He's been at Real Madrid about 8 seasons now, hasn't he? Raphael Varane. Manchester United have showed an interest in him. It also said that, I think it did say Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain had also showed an interest in Raphael Varane as well. But we do know that he's got a huge release clause in his current deal with Real Madrid of around £429 million, of course, as well. So from Real Madrid's perspective, they may demand the team to trigger that £429 million release clause, of course, well, to make it harder to get him, of course, as well. But it looked very, very good in our back line, alongside Victor Lindelof, if Raphael Varane was to come in. Raphael Varane, this is his 8th season at Real Madrid. He's won about 15, 16 major honours. I think he's made just under 270 appearances in all competitions, of course, as well. But he's an absolutely great defender. His stability is good. He shows that ability to play out from the back. He's aggressive in his play. He's good in the air, and he's got all the physical attributes. And I think he'd fit the Manchester United agenda well. And it would be good for him, to come and experience the Premier League, of course, well. But I still think he's got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022, as Raphael Varane, of course. He actually began his career in France with Lens as well, did Raphael Varane, where he's up the youth system. But a few teams have expressed their interest in the player. So Manchester United have reportedly showed an interest in Raphael Varane. So I don't see Real Madrid willing to let him go. And of course, unless, Real Madrid, try and find a replacement for him, of course, as well. And he looked very, very good alongside Lindelof in our back line. And if a new centre-back was to come in, obviously that will probably then see, Eric Bailly probably, depart as well, because Eric Bailly, has been in and out of the team this season for Manchester United. Smalling and Jones have obviously been first choice ahead of him. I still highly rate Bailly. He's got really, really good potential as Eric Bailly, and I really, really like him. He's only scored 1 goal for the club in the Premier League, of course, and that game against Swansea was a couple of years ago now. He's made about just under 50 appearances in the Premier League for Manchester United as Eric Bailly. It actually was one of Jose Mourinho's first signings, because I think we paid £30 million for him, of course, 3 years ago from Villarreal. Reports have been coming out saying that Madrid have showed an interest in Eric Bailly, and they may be interested in bringing him back to Spain, of course, because I said he played for Villarreal and he's had experience of playing in Spain. But I think reportedly Real Madrid are interested. It did say Real Madrid were preparing to put a bid in of around £35 million for Eric Bailly, of course, as well. So obviously, we'd recoup, that money we paid for him from Villarreal. Probably an extra £5 million would gain in a profit or something like that. But there has been talks about that going on. But probably more than likely, Manchester United would demand probably Raphael Varane as part of the deal, of course, as well. And as I did say, guys, there's also, been a lot of talks, about Koulibaly, that's been going on, as well, as we all know. And we do know he's going to cost us staggering amounts of money as well. He's Napoli's Koulibaly, because reports came out the other day saying that allegedly, it did say Koulibaly has reportedly switched agents, and reportedly he's forcing a way out of Napoli this summer. Koulibaly, of course, as well. Potentially, I don't think we'll probably get him this summer, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is focusing on other targets now, of course, as well. Koulibaly, obviously, Man United have been long admirers of the player. We're linked to him in January. We were linked to him last summer, of course, as well. And his performances have been absolutely fantastic indeed. His work rate's good, his physicality is good, he's good in the air. He shows that ability to play out from the back, of course, as well. And he's grown, developed and flourished fantastically well. And his performances in Italy, have just been absolutely fantastic indeed. But I think now reports are saying that now he's switched agents. I think his brother's currently represent him now, Koulibaly, of course, as well. Not too long ago, he signed a new contract, so he's under contract with Napoli until 2023. And I think he's been at Napoli since like 2014. I think he's made a couple of century of appearances for Napoli as well, and he's 27 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Reports came out the other week saying that, you know, Ancelotti's insisted that he's not for sale and he's not going to leave Napoli and all that. Reports came out the other week saying that Napoli were demanding around £130 million for Koulibaly, of course, this summer. We do need someone, we need a centre-back, someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well. So we've been interested, you know, in quite a few defenders, as we all know, as well. So there has been a lot of talk, you know, going on about that as well. But yeah, as I did currently say, guys, you know, as I did update you earlier on, as I said, you know, obviously Manchester United, we're obviously, you know, going for the top four this season, because I don't really see us, you know, winning the Champions League, to be quite honest. And obviously, we want to get top four this season, of course, you know, so in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer window, of course, as well. Top four's possibly still on. I think we've got to win at least 5 of our remaining 6 games, you know, if we've got any chances of getting in that top 4, of course, as well. Recently, we've been in a bad run of form, you know, we've lost 3 of our last 4 games, of course, as well. So potentially, you know, things have to be turned around. But as I did currently say, yes, so as I did currently say, yes, so things need to be turned around, you know, quick, as I currently said. Obviously, we know there's quite a few teams going for that top 4. There's us, there's Chelsea, there's Arsenal, and there's Tottenham, of course, as well. So there's quite a few teams going for that top 4. The 2 teams going for the league is obviously Liverpool and Manchester City, of course, as well. As I updated you on my last video, of course, as well. I probably do think Liverpool are going to win the league now, you know, to be quite honest, you know, the more Liverpool win, obviously it's going to intensify, you know, more pressure on Manchester City, of course. Well, if Manchester City win every game from now to the end of the season, obviously, you know, Manchester City are champions, of course, as well. Liverpool, as I did say, you know, winning yesterday against Southampton 3-1. And I know I'd really, you know, obviously Naby Keita scoring his first goal for the club. Actually, Shane Lonna put Southampton in front, but Naby Keita then equalised for Liverpool. That's his first goal for Liverpool, first goal for the club. You know, I saw Salah as well, you know, getting his name on the score sheet, Henderson getting the assist, and also Henderson scoring the third, and, you know, as well. So Henderson got a goal and got an assist, of course, as well. But Liverpool have addressed their deficiencies, you know, they did it last summer. They spent about £171 million last summer, of course, as well. And, you know, they addressed the defensive deficiencies with the signing of Virgil van Dijk, of course. And he's done really, really well for them. You know, he's been at Liverpool over the year now. They actually got him in January of last year, of course, as well. They've got a great attacking trio in Firmino, Salah and Mane, of course. I think they're blending very, very well together, you know, to be quite honest with you. And, you know, Salah's a really, really good player. And I think he's one of the best in the Premier League. Not as a forward, as I said, not as a forward or a winner, but I think in terms of an attacking intent, he's definitely one of the best, of course. His record against the big teams isn't really, really good this season, of course, you know, Mohamed Salah, but he's absolutely brilliant. His work ethic scores, his physicality is very, very good. He's quick on the ball, he's distinctive in his play, his finishing's absolutely fantastic indeed, is Mohamed Salah's, and he just scores goals for Liverpool, and he's absolutely a great player indeed. I like Sadio Mane, you know, I really, really highly rate Sadio Mane. I think he's a really, really good player for Liverpool. I don't think he's quite on the same level as Salah. I don't think he's as good as Salah, but I still really, really like Sadio Mane. You know, again, his physicality is good, his work ethic is good, and he's an elite level football player, is Sadio Mane, just like Mohamed Salah is, of course, as well. But Sadio Mane can score goals, he can create opportunities on a regular basis, of course, as well. So potentially, you know, they have builded their team up of Liverpool, of course, as well. And potentially, they want to win the league this season. You know, they haven't won it for nearly 3 decades, of course, as well. And I thought Liverpool, they'd gone downhill, you know, when they lost the likes of Luis Suarez, you know, when they lost Philippe Coutinho, of course, well, I thought potentially, you know, Liverpool would have gone downhill, you know, to be quite honest with you, as well. I don't think they've won a major honour since like 2006 or something like that. I think the last time they won a major honour was actually back in 2006. They won the FA Cup in the final against West Ham. I think that was actually, you know, 4-3, wasn't it, or something like that, as well. But potentially Jurgen Klopp, obviously, you know, he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree in terms of like winning any major honours. He won a couple of titles at Borussia Dortmund and all that, but yeah, he's been at Liverpool quite a few seasons now, but he hasn't won out yet with Liverpool, of course, as well, you know, but they did invest well last summer, of course, as well. And I really, really highly rate Mohamed Salah. I still think he's the best in the Premier League in terms of an attacking intent, as I currently said as well. And his goal was great, you know, what he scored yesterday, of course, as well. But if you look at the running now between Liverpool and Manchester City, of course, you've probably got to favour Liverpool, because Liverpool's only tough game is obviously against Chelsea next Sunday, of course, as well. So maybe Chelsea could, you know, dent their title hopes, Liverpool's title hopes, maybe, of course, well, because Chelsea maybe are capable of beating Liverpool, to be quite honest as well. I probably would favour Liverpool because obviously, it's at Anfield, of course, as well. So you've got Manchester City, obviously Manchester City, they've still got to play us at Old Trafford. They've still got, who else have they got to play? They've still got to play us at Old Trafford. They've still got to play Tottenham in the league, of course, well, and they do play Tottenham twice in the Champions League, of course, as well, do Manchester City. But you never know, what could happen, as I said, City have got that game in hand, as I said. City go to Crystal Palace next week, of course, as well. But Liverpool have only lost one match all season. They've won 25 out of 33. They've scored 75 goals in the league this season, only conceded 20, as I said. So potentially, yeah, I'm not really bothered who wins it. I don't want City or Liverpool to win, as I said, because I'm a Manchester United fan. But if I'd rather Liverpool win the league than City, win the quadruple, to be quite honest with you, as well. Or another way, I'd rather City win the league, providing City get knocked out of the Champions League, of course, as well. I don't really like choosing, but if I had to really choose, that'd be my own perspective on it, of course, as well. But we do know that City have got the experience. They've already won 3 Premier League titles of Manchester City. Of course, they're going for the 4th league title, of course, as well. But City's intentions probably would be more than the Champions League than the Premier League. If they had they'd obviously like to win both, but if they had the option out of the Premier League and Champions League, obviously City would intend more on focusing on the Champions League and winning the Champions League, of course, well, because actually Manchester City have never won the Champions League. I know that Guardiola's won the Champions League, obviously, when he was a Barcelona manager, but obviously, his City have never won the Champions League, of course, as well. So I don't want City to win the 4, of course. Well, I don't see it happening, to be quite honest with you. I don't think City, will win the quadruple, to be quite honest with you, as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But that's the main thing I wanted to update you on today's video, guys, about what's going on with Man United. What players I think we should get in the summer, and the players I think we should get in. I think maybe Jadon Sancho would be a great addition to come in, even though he's going to cost us at least around £100 million. Of course, I did say maybe we should spend the money wisely. Maybe we should, go for the likes of Wan Bissaka, who's around 35-40 million. Declan Rice around 40 million. Maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi around 40 million. Even so, if you had Alderweireld, I wouldn't be keen for him to come to Manchester United this summer. But he's available for a reasonable fee. He's going to be available for around 26 million this summer because he's refused to sign a new contract with Tottenham. Tottenham last year, I think they activated a 12-month extension. They included this 26 million release clause, of course, as well. And he's lost that yard of pace now as Alderweireld. Let's be honest, he's lost that yard of pace. He's just recently turned 30 years of age, not too long ago, of course, as well. And he's well Premier League proven, of course. And I still think he'd be a good leader in our back line. But, there's obviously better options out there than Toby Alderweireld, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, as I did currently say, drop your comments, likes below on the channel, as I said. But I do, in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he's the right man for Manchester United. Of course, before I go, he's the right man. He knows the club inside out. Obviously, being a great player for 11 years, of course, as well. Obviously managing the Manchester United reserve team, of course, well, watching this team at this day and age. Some of this team now at this day and age, grow and develop, of course, as well. So for me, he's still the right man for Manchester United. We might have lost us three out of our last 4 games, but he's totally blameless in this situation, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe there's still lots of work to be done at Manchester United, with the remainder of this season, who comes in the summer. Then obviously next season is going to be the huge chance for Solskjaer. And if we start off the season bad next season, then questions, of course, will be asked then, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, who would you like to come? What players would you like to come into Manchester United in the summer? I'd love to know. Just let me know in the comments below, and I might be doing one more live video very, very soon. So take care, God bless, guys, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thank you for watching, and I'd appreciate if you would smash that like button. It would be appreciated, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, ta-ra. I'll see you all again very soon.